Hello world, I don't show again. I'm here again. And like you know, my name is Boluwatiwi, Boluwatiwi, Tiwi for short, so you don't have to visit a dentist. My name is quite long, my social media handles are also quite long, depending on how you define long anyway. Welcome once again to another episode of Behind the Beats. This is that program where we actually showcase to you the unsung heroes in the gospel music industry. People who I call the architects of gospel music. They are the people who have been putting their time, their effort, their energy into ensuring that the gospel music in Nigeria, in Africa, and the world at large, becomes something that you and I can actually relate with. And I'm proud to be one of those people, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy the show today. Don't forget, this is Behind the Beats. If you are watching us right now, I think you need to call on everybody, within your family, friends, family, foes, everybody. Just tell them to come. Today, you're going to learn something amazing because I have someone in the studio right now, and it happens to be one of Nigeria's finest everything. This man is an all-rounder. Is a complete media person and happens to be one of Nigeria's finest music producers. And it gives me joy to welcome him. When you see him, he's a fine man. So when you see fine men, they talk fine things. And, there's a way the thing just goes like that. The thing will go... So right about now, I want you to bring out your drums, bring out your pots, your pans, your sticks, your stove, your everything that can make a sound in your house. And just begin to, I call it knock, 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 knock. Hit something, make some noise, roll the drums. I make welcome to the show the one and only Nigeria's finest, Africa's finest, the world's finest, Jovi, my brother. How you doing?
I'm great. Thank
so
you,
good to
man.
have you on the show. You see, it's just cool. This is another senior somebody. Whenever I come on the show and I have senior citizens, I just let you know, okay, these folks are senior citizens, and senior citizens will mean that they have actually been in the industry for quite, a number of time. Jovi happens to be one of those very special people. I welcome you to the show, brother.
Thank you.
This is one man that I love so much. We actually beckoned onto him, and he was just like, okay, guy, okay, don't worry, I'll show up. And he's here right now. Wow, thank you so much for coming around. So let's talk about your journey being a music producer, a music director, and an instrumentalist. How has it been so far? When did you start? How did you start? Why did you start?
Okay. I guess in the journey itself, it tells you all about me. I started out in a Christian background, but the context Christian background is really overrated most times. People get to take it off the hook. Like, there are a lot of us in church, nevertheless, we're not following the church.
Oh, Jesus.
So I will tell you, I've been in church, but I didn't always remain in church.
Exactly.
I started out there. For singing, like you asked my journey, I was born and raised in Warri, Delta State, in Nigeria here, and but I'm from Rivers.
Okay.
And
so you can swim a lot.
I obviously can swim. I think in my childhood, there was once they threw me into the water, and there's this belief that if you can't swim, it means your mom did something wrong.
Yeah, exactly. That's funny.
So like pretty young, I was thrown into the water.
Yeah.
So back to my journey, I started out going to church with my parents. I see my mom rehearse in the choir, my dad sing. But most of all, because people really don't know, probably due to lack of education in the industry, they really don't know how this music comes about. I would say, like, I've taught lots of people, music is most times 90% of good listening.
Exactly.
I use the word good listening. Your influences, things that those little bits and pieces that have brought you together, is what makes you
what
who you are
exactly
as a musician. It's not what you've learned. The rehearsal and every other thing you put to practice is like 10% to make it 100.
Yeah.
So growing up, I had my dad playing lots of high life music. I grew up listening to Rex James Lawson, Bala Mila, the likes of
Victor
Wifo, Edna Ogoli, having some good music. The country had good music, not like what we hear today. What we hear today. So I dabbled into singing in clubs when I left seminary school, but my journey as a singer started officially in seminary school. I was forced to sing alto parts, classical, so the classical background started out. And after secondary school, I had this cousin of mine. They were so good, some guys in Assemblies of God. They put me together. They kept saying something about my voice, like, you sound really good.
Something about your voice.
I didn't really know what it is because I just took it for play. If you leave me, there's something I love to do more is to wash. I love washing.
Jesus.
I love washing, and
that's quite weird.
Somehow, I got into that a cappella singing going on with Dan, but I really didn't have a journey then. I didn't take it like I wanted to do music or become a producer. There was no story about that. I was being trained to become a mechanical engineer in high school. You understand? My dad's dream was to become an engineer. Everyone was becoming an engineer, working in Shell like a dad. And somehow, I think after secondary school, that was when I started this a cappella thing. So the church thing, I've always been in church. So despite the fact that I would go to club and do some singing, sneak in and out, I started singing in the sense, I had this friend, David Ovunda, God knows where he is right now. But at least I'm sure that's his name. He might be hearing me somehow. So I had good friends who always call me. I had Sammy Guitar. I called him some months back and I was introducing myself back to him because he's like one of the biggest guitarists we have now in the country. And I was like, I remember this was the first guy that put the guitar into my hand and I ran from it because the action was so high. So it's a whole lot put together.
Before we came on set, I actually spoke about the fact that I want us to hammer on music directing. Now, in the gospel music industry, you know, we normally hear people say, I'm a music director, I'm a music director, I'm a music director. And in the long run, you see their products, the music that they are actually directing, you feel like, I'm not seeing the work of a director. There's nothing being directed here. What is the job of a music director?
Okay, first of all, the job of a music director, people misunderstand the roles of this music thing. You need to know the job of a producer, the job of an arranger. The arranger is the highest form.
Exactly.
Of any musical thing. So the director is a mini arranger. What makes him different from the arranger is if he's not schooled to script down music.
Script down music,
so
exactly.
I'm a bit of scholar myself. Like I love to read, whether I go to school for it or not. I've been, I think 2011, I also had the opportunity to get introduced to Coursera, Allison,
exactly.
the free courses when they were there. So I went, up to now I still do that. Just some weeks back, I just started doing some things on EDX also. I'm very voracious when it comes to knowledge. So I started out learning several schools in Lagos. I did a bit of course in SPAN. I also did a course with Love World Music Academy. Graduated there before I went to SPAN. So I've always been get classes from people. So what's the job of a director, like you said? A director is a mini arranger. He puts the music together. He tells you the musical aspects of it, just like a camera person or a DOP behind the camera. Tells you, okay, this is how we want these shots to be. So he directs the movement of this, and okay, they're not really laws these days in music because everything people do is fusion. Someone might tell you I'm a rock artist, but even that rock, the drummer rolling is giving maybe a Fuji rolling.
Fuji rolling,
So people do fusion these days because there are no studies to tell you, okay, what are the similarities with these genres, different genres. I mean, so as a director, I directed vocals, and because of the classical background, when it comes to harmony was my strength. So when it comes to putting harmony and arranging music, it was my strength, and as a pianist also. So I always bring out something. I hear a song and I could come out with the word improvisation. I could improvise a song and make it look different. So that was my strength, going to other places, and that's actually the music.
You know, having read a little bit of music myself, one of the things that I find so exciting in music is you know, the fourth harmony of J.S. Bach. You know, something that I really love to study. You know, how you you know. Before then, we never really had, you know, this fourth harmony thing until he came up with the whole idea, and you know, it's making a lot of sense right now, knowing fully well that in black gospel we just like to do the tragic harmony, soprano, alto, tenor, but there's still something that you can actually
you even have the descants and the
exactly, you know, contratenor and all of those things. Now, I think music directing is something that we need to start looking at as a more creative, a more lucrative.
Most times you have to go to the music director before going to the studio.
Exactly. Now, how have you been able to let people understand that you can do these two things together? Have you been able to because on this show, one of the things that I like to talk about is money. Because we know that a lot of the arrangers, the producers, the engineers in our industry, in our sector of the music industry, don't actually get what they deserve. You know, they don't get the right amount of money they deserve. They don't get the proper accolades. They don't get credits and royalties and all of those. Now, let's talk money. How have you been able to make money from directing music, knowing fully well that you're a producer, but has the word music directing, you know, has it been able to give you, you know, the much deserved respect that you have?
Yes. For me, I had to work it because the environment we find ourselves, some people don't care whether you have the paper or not. like I said, I'm voracious with knowledge. I keep learning. So what I had to do was you need to start from your abode. Jazz music, for example, let me use jazz, for example. I went to Span, and my director, Bright Gain, is someone who, thank God for who he is. He's pushing jazz in Africa. And people tell you, guy, you want to be playing the and all that in Africa, yeah, that hungry will catch you. But it takes someone to stand on it for the next generation, because you need to know where your goal is. What do you want to be known for? So having gone through several training with Mr. Bright Gain, one thing I put to myself was, okay, you have to start from your little sphere. As more as people might say, okay, don't want to accept this kind of music. How do you make them accept it? You need to bring knowledge. So I started with training people free.
Wow.
Imagine having a choir, and you have several groups. For Redeem, they will call it, they have their assistant province and all that thing. In Charisma, you have chapters, you have groups. So I started from my own group, and if I'm able to, since I came to Lagos, one thing that I've consistently done was to play and sing.
Exactly.
So I said, there's a way this music should be done. If my drummer is being too fast, why? If you're going to produce in a studio, there's a tempo. So the music doesn't get faster or either lesser. It doesn't run out of tempo, out of time. So if drummer is too fast, I stop him and I tell him, I can actually program on my keyboard and do this thing. So it wasn't a sweet journey. It took years. There wasn't money at first, but like I said, music has a way of entering people even without their permission, if the music is good. Are able to make money. It wasn't an easy journey, but like I said, you don't go to meet people and say, okay, you know this, and nobody listens to a poor man. Even apart from giving you money, nobody listens to in the Bible. It's there. A poor man's knowledge is useless, my friend. So I was already a good pianist. I already started teaching music, so I had to devise a means within Lagos here. If I start teaching in schools, big schools don't want to pay. Because probably you don't have a musical certificate and you read something else. So I had to think. I've been going through Coursera, like I said, I listened these things immediately they came out. So I started teaching online. I'm one of the first people that took good use of OLX. Thank God to them.
Wow.
Even before they started monetizing the adverts, then I used good, and I had big clients kids who. Even when I gave them bill, then I think the first lady, the Indian lady then was asking me, are you sure you know this job? Because you're charging pretty low. So first of all, I was like, okay, there's a market, because you need to have self-esteem. You need to know what you're doing. There are those who don't know this and they're taking more money than you.
Exactly.
I said, the Bible says a man's gift maketh rich. So why should I be struggling? Why the struggle?
Exactly.
If I was playing in clubs, and far back as 2003, I was earning 40,000 per night. Playing Intel camps, I playing Blues Cafe, several blues. And why now I'm serving God and things? Do I have to come to church and start begging pastor? One pastor secretary will now be telling me, brother Joe, just wait.
Just hold on.
All those
Pastor
kind of
is
things.
still busy. Oh, jeez.
So all those things, you must always come to that point where you have to draw and say, what is the business? Because that's one thing that's affected musicians, especially gospel musicians.
Yes.
How do you monetize your business? So I had to devise a plan. There's somewhere I'm going to. I don't want to end in teaching, even though I love teaching. For the directing aspect, I started teaching free. Wow. People might have to see it. I might not have to pull it, but people need to see and hear what you're doing. So that's how I grew to that. It's a whole long story. So but what was I doing on the side to sustain myself? I was teaching music. Many graduates don't end up to 300,000. So far back as 2013, I have like 6 students, 50, 50, 50. And what did the Indian woman say? Say, hey, okay, you say 50, let me try you 1 month. And if you can teach my son, I bring plenty Indians. I say, look, pay you for you, and you do. We do business. And that was it. I had 6 students. I didn't take more than I could handle. 6 students that I could handle pretty much. And I outsourced the rest and was still getting
some form of.
I was seeing some commissions from the guys who I was giving. So I had 50,000 from 6 students. That was 300,000. I still had time to do my music in church. And I go to church. I use my own money to pay for guys, because some people had to see. There are people who come to church. Choristers don't have transport. So I was building guys. I started training instrumentalists, because I also know that one of the ways to get better is teaching. I've raised lots of instrumentalists in Lagos, like countless instrumentalists in Lagos, thanks to my boss Visigah too, for also investing in me. Because I also go to meet people, and so I want to learn this thing. So music was there. Teaching music was what was sustaining me, and it's still.
Amazing. You know how we do it on this show. This is Behind the Beats, where we actually get to showcase the unsung heroes behind the music industry, the gospel music industry per se. And Jovi happens to be somebody who has been into the nitty-gritty of training people. He is a music director, a music producer, and he's a multi-instrumentalist. He plays the bass guitar, he plays the piano, he plays the trumpets, he plays the
drum.
The drum. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Another senior citizen here. So if you are still thinking about it, this is the man to go to. Now, I want us to move to another segment of the show. This is where you get to tell us your top 5 songs, your top 5 playlists, starting from your number 5 up until your number 1. So,
gospel playlist?
Gospel playlist, yes, yeah. So your number 5 song from your top 5 playlist will be what song?
Number 5 song will be "In Spite of Me" by J.
Yeah, J. Yeah, that's an amazing artist. You know, we have this a new crop of artists who are doing urban music. You know, music for the millennials, and I think we're really doing good in that aspect in Nigeria now. I look forward to when we'll actually be able to export these things more. We are trying, but we're not there yet. You understand? Very, very, very beautiful artists you have there. So your number 4 song will be
Nathaniel Bassey, Jesus.
How come I get a lot of Nathaniel Bassey on everybody's playlist? You understand? If I bring people on this show, you know,
good music can't hide.
Exactly. And one thing I like about Nathaniel Bassey is the fact that he's very vast in the knowledge of music, but there's this way he infuses simplicity into his music. You hear a blend of jazz.
It comes with the training.
You understand? And it's just...
the training comes with discipline.
Exactly. Discipline. That's the key. So to everyone out there, you have to be disciplined.
You don't come up in the song, I want to...
all that. Every time. So just calm down. Calm down.
Yeah.
So your number 3 song will be? Amazing, amazing. I'm actually doing a cover of that song, so you guys should just watch out for it. I think I'm done with the instrumentation, so I'll be dropping that very soon. Chinedu Mesichinwo. Mesichinwo is also another beautiful artist that appears on the top 5 playlist on Behind the Beats. I think one of these days we should do, I'm going to take permission from my producer and my director. Shout out to them and the people behind the cameras. I'm going to take permission from them. Maybe one of these days we should do an artist version of Behind the Beats. And I think Mesichinwo should be something that should be somebody that we need to consider. So let's head straight to your number 2 song.
Number 2 is T-Sharp, Lion of Judah.
Lion of Judah. Tell me about that song.
I was opportune to study T-Sharp. He's my boss when it comes to vocal coaching. I say I'm voracious with knowledge. My music is not what it is today without T-Sharp. So a big thank you to
Big shout out to T-Sharp. Another senior citizen.
Yes, as in, he's also a producer. Even though he's not on the console, he's a music director. He's my music today is T-Sharp. At the point in time when I sing, people refer me to T-Sharp, so I had to come back and I was like, yes, I've studied him now. Let me find my voice.
Exactly.
Yes, my music is not complete without T-Sharp.
Yeah. So we head straight to your number 1 song on your top 5 playlist. What would your number 1 song be?
Funny enough, it's one genre that I've tried to fuse myself into, and I don't know how to get into it, and it's Testimony Jaga.
Oh, Jesus.
Also.
Oh, Jesus. Testimony. I think this is the second time that I'm having Testimony on top 5 playlist.
Yeah.
And what song? What
Jesus.
Song? Testimony Jaga is one amazing artist, and he's also a producer.
Yes.
You mentioned. I think one of these days we should have Testimony. Testimony Jaga calls himself Agbero for Jesus. Oh my God. One of the things that I like about him is that his style of music is something that is very new. How do I mean very new? You know, we've always had this Fuji thing, but there's a bit of diversity in his Fuji.
He's creative, and not until a few weeks back with his interviews, I get to understand that he's also like a stage artist too. He went into craft, so he's just creative, man. I couldn't understand. I don't speak Yoruba language, but everything he was doing there, I was worshiping. Like I said, I've been trying to get into this Fuji or without the Yoruba thing, and remembering then when they played it and they turned my Niger Delta into Fuji. Man, but with Testimony Jaga, I could listen to him all day long. He's my guy, man.
Yeah, big shout out to Testimony Jaga. You're doing an amazing job right there. We celebrate you on Behind the Beats. We love you so much, brother. Keep doing that great thing. So we'll head straight into this section. I think before we came on camera, I didn't tell you this. So there's going to be this aspect where I'm going to ask you to tell me, I'll read out lyrics from a popular Niger song. You will tell me the song title and the artist's name.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I hope so. I still should.
Okay, I'll just go straight. I think I've asked someone this one before. And speaking from the perspective that you are trying to come into the Fuji thing. I'll just pick someone from that region, someone not too far from that region.
Okay, I wouldn't get no one apart from testimony. I don't think.
I think you should know this one. I think you should know this one. So,
Okay.
and you also have the options for Lifeline. I could give you
Okay.
2 or 3 options depending on how you want it.
Okay.
So I'll just go straight. I'll read out the lyrics now. The lyrics. No be me they fight, na me they win. Grace and mercy, lower Mary.
I have
No
no
be me
idea.
they fight, na me they win. Grace and mercy, lower Mary. No be me they fight, na me they win. Grace and mercy, lower Mary. So your answer. I like this segment because a lot of times I normally tell my director to put this bang bang, you know that thing. When we don't get the answer
I have
right.
no idea.
You have no idea.
So you can give me some as a Fuji artist.
Okay. So do you want me to give you options? You have a
Yeah,
lifeline.
give me options. It
Okay.
will still be a guess though.
Yeah. Would you like to have 2 options or 3 options?
Whichever options you give to me, it's gonna be a guess. So you can give me 2.
Okay. Let me just give you the options. Number 1, Adam. Number 2, Mike Abdul.
Okay, Mike Abdul.
Yeah, Mike Abdul, Adam. Do you want another option?
I would choose Mike Abdul.
You would choose Mike Abdul. Is Mike Abdul your final answer? Think about it very well.
Like I said, it's a guess. Mike Abdul.
Wow, how come you got it correctly? It's actually Mike Abdul. Mike Abdul. And the
Yeah.
song title is Korede by Mike Abdul. You should listen to that song. That song is also
I will listen to it now that you said, because he's also one lovely person, man.
exactly, you know, it has this mid-tempo Afro
Yeah.
indigenous vibe.
He fuses all together and
Exactly.
he
And
brings it on a platter of silver to you.
Exactly. And funny enough, I think that Mike Abdul is the only Nigerian gospel artist who actually infuses EDM into his songs. Big shout out to T Yanks. T Yanks is one wonderful producer that I respect so much. He's been with Mike Abdul for quite a long time, and I see a lot of infusion of EDM and Fuji. And bros, you're a senior citizen. It's still behind the beats, and I'm here with Joe V, one of Nigeria's finest, Africa's finest music directors, music producer, and multi-instrumentalist. And my name is Boluwatiwi, Boluwatiwi. From where I come from, you have to put some musical notes on my name for you to be able to pronounce it very well. So it has to be mi, 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 re, mi. You understand? So Boluwatiwi. In the Yoruba language, there are actually just 3 musical notes. Do, re, mi. So whatever you actually pronounce, so my director has actually warned me not to say that Yoruba tribe from southwestern Nigeria, where I come from, is the best tribe in Nigeria. So I'm not saying it. It's not as if I'm saying it.
Well, I wouldn't use the word the best tribe, but I personally love the Yoruba music, and I'm putting it out here that probably the next time I'm gonna come on this show, I'm going to sing Yoruba. I love the language. They worship. I think it's probably because of cultural background.
Exactly.
I just love languages. They learn to worship.
Exactly.
So that's like testimony. I said I didn't hear anything he said there, but I was worshiping.
Exactly. Exactly. Thank you so much for coming on the show today. So finally, I would like to ask you, if you were to pick between giving a songwriting tip or a music production tip, which of this would you pick? Songwriting tip, music production tip.
Okay, I would choose songwriting because in my songwriting, I think of progression. That's how I write songs. I write songs professionally, so I don't just write songs and put lyrics together, no. So there are 2 ways to write song. You either have a tune that you like and you want to write to, or you have a concept, like a journey. And people have different concepts about writing, but if you study music writing, you should have a picture. A song should have a journey. You don't just come as, okay, let me do something that will sell, because that's another thing that goes wrong with people. People, if you're doing gospel, you don't do the music. Let this thing will sell. It wouldn't last. Of course, people will dance to it, but it wouldn't last. So I will give a songwriting tip. It will help the production itself.
Exactly. So what would the songwriting tip be?
I think I already started. Let your song be a journey. If the starting of the song were to be Jesus, don't tell stories that conflict themselves. If you're praising God in the song, it should be about praise. Don't now glorify yourself like I said. if you're giving a testimony, it should be a testimony. Sometimes they might be fused, but your picture should be clear before you write a song. Even if the song just comes, some people wake up with lyrics. When it comes to the gospel, my pastor might be preaching in church and their songs coming based on the message.
Exactly.
So if it's about faith, there should be a clarity about what you want to do in music. Don't start the song with Jesus died for me and you're ending it with my enemies will never get me. He's done all the work.
Exactly. So amazing time right here on the show. Whenever I am on this side of the seat, I always like to learn from the other person on that side of the seat. And today, I can tell you that I have learned a lot. I trust that you have also learned a lot. It's so good to have you on the show today, Jovi. Thank you so much. I know that the next time we call on you, you would actually, answer us. And he's actually helping me out on this project. And I won't tell you that later. I won't tell you that now. I'll tell you that later. So before you go, people want to reach out to you. How can they actually reach out to you on social media?
Okay, for now, I'm rebranding on social media, but you could get me through my Facebook with the name Visigah Joseph. I use Facebook for a reason. Instagram, for me, like I said, I'm rebranding, and your brand is what people see you as. If you're coming out, you started out with people not knowing the business aspects.
Exactly.
I, for one reason, have not put out some things there, apart from my private reach on things like Instagram. You have OLX and GG, all those classes. So Facebook is your best bet for now. Or via the email, jcord.soulhouse, JCHORD, jcord.soulhouse@gmail.com. You send a mail. I do professional jobs. I don't do bits. So you want a training for your church, you want a vocal direction, you want to arrange your music, you're in good hands. The number also is 080-3831-5140.
Yeah, and just in case you're calling from outside Nigeria, all you need to do is to just add it +23480. +23480. Thank you so much for coming on the show. My name is BOLUWATIWI. A lot of people have been asking me, why do you always get to spell your name? Because I need to let people know what my name is. I'm proud of my name. My name is Boluwatiwe, and it's an amazing time I had on the show today. Behind the beats, big shout out to my producer, Mr. Okoyemi Babalola. Big shout out to Mr. Ben, my director, and all the assistant directors. Big shout out to the makeup team. They made us fine. And to everybody who had been behind the beat. Till we'll see you next time. God bless you. I love you so much. Thank you for watching us.